What up, everybody? This is Jason, and I have a quick physical meeting. Now, when I say this time, I do mean quick. I just got to do another flea market video, but this one's going to be, I'm hoping, no more than 5 minutes. About a week ago, not even a week ago, like I'm over here like doing this with my nose, like I just did like a bump of coke. I didn't. I just my nostrils are flaring up. But I hopped onto Whatnot, and this guy had just stacks of DVDs, and he was like, just tell me what you want. Everything's like $1, and then blah 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 and all this stuff." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And I don't really want to do DVDs that much anymore, but since they were like $1 and it's a bunch of stuff I'd never seen or just stuff I've wanted, I just needed in my collection for XYZ reason. I just like, all right, dude, I'm your Huckleberry. So I just said this one, this one, this one, this one. It's so funny because even though there's people in there, I guess they have to run it. And so even though nobody else has any interest in some of these movies I had picked, he had to run it for like 15 or 20 or whatever seconds. And so I'm just sitting there like, slide it over to be like, yes, I want to buy it for $1. And then I have to sit there and wait each time. But anyways, all that said and done, let's show you what I picked up. The first thing was, let's go, I'm going to just kind of just go by this one here. Eddie and the Cruisers and Eddie and the Cruisers 2, Eddie Lives. The music in this is fantastic. I have not seen these movies. I don't think I've ever seen part 2 ever. I've not seen Eddie and the Cruisers since it first came out, like in the late 80s, I think. Early to mid 80s, 83 it says. So I probably didn't see this since like the late 80s when I probably first watched it. But this is one of those 80s totally awesome double features. Like totally awesome 80s movies. So I needed to get this for my collection. I did not have this, and I know all these are DVDs, so I know most of you all will be like, dude, there's 4Ks of these now. There's even better Blu-rays. I know. But when I can't say no to $1. So I got all this stuff, including shipping was like, I don't know, $10 to $15 total. And it's stuff that I've never really seen and I just wanted to get. And if I would have got each one of these online or on eBay, it's going to be $3 minimum for this shipping, plus the disc itself, the DVD itself, between $2 to $3 probably. That's if I'm lucky, I can get it for just a couple bucks. So I'm going to get each one of these for between like probably $4 to $6 to $8 possibly. Nah. Next up is Benny and June, a Johnny Depp joint. This is a pure 90s movie. Came out in 93. So right when I was in school, high school, I think. So this came out like right when I was, hitting my formative years. And I remember this movie being really, really good. I remember Benny and June being kind of odd. I remember the trailers for it. I had it on VHS back in the day, but I picked up Benny and June. All these were widescreen editions. Also, all of them came with their inserts, which I didn't even know. Because after I talked to the guy for a couple minutes on the Whatnot, message each other back and forth, he showed me a few of the discs that were all there. Like everything was there, everything looked clean. I'm like, all right, dude, I trust you. Let's just keep going, or else we're gonna be here for an hour. Just me going through each one of these things. Next up is a Walter Hill movie. I don't think I've ever seen, but I've heard good things about it. I believe it's like a rock opera, like a rock and roll, musical, which is weird coming from Walter Hill, and you probably know it. Streets of Fire. Diane Lane is in here, Rick Moranis, Amy Madigan, and then Michael Pear are all in this. And I've seen bits and pieces. I've seen excerpts of this movie, but I've never sat down and really watched the movie before. So again, I thought this is a good $1 chance if I like it in the collection. If I don't like it, out it goes. So there you have that. Let's see. Next one here is a blast from the past. He even was like, "Oh, I got a movie you might like." So you see like 80s and 90s. And sometimes when you do that, people just try to pawn off things they don't really. They try to get close to what you said to try to get you to buy or attempt to buy some of the stuff they don't want anymore. Because I got one you might like. Since you said you like 80s and 90s stuff, I'm like, all right. And he goes, this one here, the Punisher, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. And I was like, hell yes, I want this. So you got Dolph Lundgren, you got Louis Gossett Jr., and let's see, is there anybody else in here that recognize Kim Miyori? That's Japanese sounding, but no, I don't know. I want to say this was from Canon back in the day. Was this Canon Studios? That artists have put it out, but I want to say this is a Canon film. This came out in 1989, so again, I was probably middle school-ish age, something, but yes, I am here for the Punisher, Dolph Lundgren, and that's also widescreen. All right, next one up, super cool. This is the movie that got everything going. I saw he had this snapper case, the old snappy snap. Can you hear that? The old snappy snap case. I was like, dude, I've not seen this movie in the wild before. With Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Dennis Leary, Judgment Night. I was so pumped when I saw that he had this. This movie also came out in, like, I want to say, like, the early to mid 90s. Does it say what? This came out from Good Times Home Video. Does it say what year this came out? Oh, that's the DVD. That's not correct. That's not accurate. Does it say? No, it does not say when this movie came out. Shoot. Oh yeah, here it is, 93. I knew it was like in the early 90s. Judgment Night. Man, I love this movie when I was growing up, when I was just a youngster. Don't move, don't whisper, don't even breathe. That's right. If you know, boys and girls. Next two here. Yeah, I think he did $5 on this one because there's multiple movies, which is fine. I got it most importantly because they had two movies that I had not seen in forever. And I think one of them was a special feature or a special edition. But it's the Stephen King box set of, you have The Dead Zone, Pet Sematary, Silver Bullet, and Graveyard Shift. I have not seen Graveyard Shift in forever. And I think it's something to do with rats, if I'm not mistaken. So the guy who plays the dad in Monster Squad is the star of that one. Of course, you got Christopher Walken in The Dead Zone. I've not seen that one forever. That one and Graveyard Shift's the reason why I got this. But of course, they're on widescreen. Pet Sematary, I've seen it. I think I have a Blu-ray Pet Sematary, so that's whatever. And then Silver Bullet, everybody knows Corey Haim, the Hamster. Gary Busey before he went full tilt boogie and went like nutso. That's a good one. That's a werewolf movie. Oops, spoiler alert! If just in case you didn't know. But yes, I wanted to see that. Well, I didn't realize the Dead Zone also is a special collector's edition. Huh. So there's all kinds of special features on here. The politics of the Dead Zone. We definitely ain't getting into that. But anyway, so yeah, there you have it. So that was something I was really excited about. So like I said, like $5 or whatever. And the one outside of Judgment Night, but the first one I saw, when I started really, after this movie I saw here, I started really looking. The Judgment Night's when I started going at, because this was a wrestling one. But this is probably one of the most infamous DVDs ever created from WWF/E. This was a hit piece, a hit job. The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. I believe this is very hard to come by. I've never seen it in the wild. I rarely see it online, and when I do see it online, it's usually super expensive. Now, again, I could be wrong. Maybe you can get this for $1.50. Maybe I'm wrong. But whenever I looked for it, whenever I've tried to see it in the past, it is not readily available. It is a difficult, either a difficult grab or difficult buy, or it's expensive. And it came with the insert, which I thought was super cool with it. But this was a complete hit job. This was after Ultimate Warrior went like nutso, and they used it as an opportunity to just like pile on him because he burned so many bridges. And that's what usually WWF/E does, is that once they bury you, either publicly or privately or both, they will then come back and ask you if they can bring you back. And that is something they've been doing with wrestlers and wrestling personalities since the beginning of time, is that they will badmouth you. They will get people to badmouth you. They will do everything they can to distance themselves from you. But then when it's convenient to either make money or do business, they will bring you back. And so that's exactly what happened here. Ultimate Warrior had so many bridges that he burned, so many people he pissed off. If you go back and watch his matches, he's kind of like Goldberg before there was Goldberg. He came in, he had like a very limited set of what he could do. He just came in, got his stuff in, and then he got out. Like he didn't really wrestle. But when I was a kid, and as most kids grew up in the 80s and 90s, you loved Ultimate Warrior because he had such a cool like setup. He'd come running down the aisle. He'd come running in, he'd grab the ropes, he'd shake the rope, and he'd like scream and yell. And then he would like whip the butt of whoever he was wrestling. Very rarely the match would go more than just a couple minutes. So it was this, it was like a video game except in real life. And so I loved watching him. Even though he never was my favorite wrestler, I definitely enjoyed, Ultimate Warrior. But and then his promos, which when you're a kid, you don't pay that much attention to exactly what he's saying. You just hear all the stuff. You just hear somebody yelling, screaming, and hooting and hollering, and you're like, yeah. Ugh. But he is by far one of the most. I would say the craziest stuff in his promos. I'm assuming that they just turn the camera on and hit record, and then they just like, all right, let's go, and then he would just start saying crazy stuff. He would say stuff like, the galaxy before you will crumble. You will never understand when the ponies rise from the water and attack the seahorses. And you're like, yeah! Even though it makes no sense. And you're left scratching your head if you understand, like, as an adult or a kid who's more like in tune with what's going on. But when he would just scream and yell and say things about galaxies and stars and planets and, Ultimate Warrior and Ultimate Warrior, the little warriors or whatever you used to say, you're just like, that's me, yeah. But then you actually listen to what he said, and he's like, then there's going to be an intergalactic battle. You're just like, yeah, battle. So that's what you would do. And anyways, with all that said and done, he was there for, he would kind of burn white hot, and then he kind of disappeared. And maybe after I watch this, I can go back and we can have more of a discussion about how he completely changed up who he was as a person, as a human being, and how he kind of found his way back after he burned so many bridges and became very controversial. And we can have that conversation. But anyways, this is probably by far one of the most shocking movies, documentaries ever made on a wrestler, because the entire intention, the whole intention was to make this, was to bury him, to publicly humiliate him, to just basically distance himself as much as they can and create as much controversy / buzz, because he was in the headlines because of other personal stuff he was doing that caused him that way. So WWF capitalized on that, which shows you what kind of scumbags they really are. So anyways, guys, that's what I picked up. So I got all these, like I said, I think I spent, because with Whatnot, it's like $3 for every DVD you buy, up to 2 or 3, and then after that it's free. So I think I got everything for like $15, $18, something. It was very reasonable when it's all said and done. So please, again, if you don't mind, liking the video, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, comment, tell your family, tell your friends, tell the postman, tell the milkman, tell the guy who delivers your ice about the channel. And until next time, thank you for watching. Peace.